Muted. Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, good evening everyone, and welcome back to BAM Sports TV. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be a part of this discussion. This afternoon we'll be having a talk with Mr. Simon Preston, who goes by many hats. I'm sure when he comes on, I'll find out which one he's most comfortable with. But before that, people remember to hit the like button, subscribe, share the video with your friends. Also, you would have seen I shared that clip at the start. That's a goalkeeping clinic that will be held from the 9th of August to the 7th, from the 7th of August to the 9th. Coach Andrew Sewell, National Women's Team Senior Goalkeeper Coach, will be having a goalkeeping camp, Safe Hands. You can always reach out to him on Instagram, or if needs be, you can also reach out to me on Instagram at BAM Sports TV, and I'll pass on the information to you, so you can know how you can be a part of that. The cost of that camp is 15,000 Jamaican dollars for 3 days. It might sound a lot, but eventually it works out to about $5,000 a day. Most goalkeeping sessions or coaches charge way more than that. You will have top quality goalkeeping coaching being, brought out, technique and everything will be worked on. So if you are interested, or if you know anyone who's interested, you can always just let them know to contact Safe Hands GK on Instagram and Facebook. And like I said, if you're interested in the number, I can provide. I'm going to put the number in the comment section so you guys can reach out to Coach Sewell and get started. So, we don't have a lot of time. We're trying to make this video last for an hour at most. So, without further ado, the man himself, Mr. Preston.
Yes, good afternoon, good evening to you and the viewers. Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it. Looking forward to the discussion. And yeah, I understand, for a number of weeks persons would have seen the thumbnail and say what's going on, but here we are ready to wrap up.
Yeah, finally happening, people. It's been a while. A lot of things happen in between. But, even today, some little, technical issues were threatening to let it not happen. But, we decided to push past that and just to make it happen. So, yeah, I really appreciate it. So, we're just going to get straight into it. So, Simon, where are you from in Jamaica?
All right, so I'm a third generation Jamaican, meaning that myself, my parents, and my grandparents were also born in Jamaica. Me specifically, I was born in St. Andrew as Nuttall Hospital. That's where I was born. I attended Hillel Academy Prep School, high school, and the University of the West Indies, Mona. And I also did some talent identification courses as well at the Scottish Football Federation in Scotland. So that's basically what my educational history has been like in that sense. But my entire life, I've lived in Jamaica. Yes, I've traveled to other countries, but my entire life, I've lived in Jamaica. So yeah, that's what I would say in terms of my sort of journey. So as persons would say, you're a town man. So yeah, that's basically been me for the few decades that I've been here on this earth.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah.
So you said you went to Hillel Prep and high school. You ever felt like you missed out on any other form of engagement, going to like public school and stuff like that? Or you have friends that go to other schools.
I think about it sometimes and say, did I miss out anything from not going to a public high school? Or it's something I wonder. Especially when schoolboy football and like champs comes around, there is that frenzy and that intense school spirit. And of course, Hillel Academy is not in champs or presently not in schoolboy football. So it's not like I would say that my school is in it. Yes, my father attended Calabar High School and was the first man to win Class 2 shot put and discus in 1973. And one of my brothers attended Calabar as well. So yes, I would have a soft spot for Calabar because I've had family attending that school. But apart from that, whenever it comes to school sports, I wouldn't say that I have a passion for it really, and it stems not only because I didn't attend Hillel, but because I attended Hillel, but also because how I feel 16, 18-year-old footballers are doing in other parts of the globe. They're not necessarily playing for their high school; they're playing for academies in their respective clubs. So whenever it comes to high school in any sport, that's I wouldn't say that I have a passion or a desire to watch a game or speak about it from those factors. And maybe it comes down to me attending Hillel Academy as well. So from that aspect of things. So to answer your question, do I feel like I missed out? Perhaps, but I did experience a public school environment attending the University of the West Indies. So in a sense, you could say that I was able to experience a different environment as well, having 50, 60 people in a class, persons from all walks of life, so that diversity there. So I wouldn't say that I missed out in that sort of sense. So I got that experience. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything that has happened. I'm grateful that my parents were able to send me to these institutions and, the experience that I garnered from it as well. I'm happy for it. So, no regrets from that standpoint at all.
Okay, so all right, so you weren't too involved in like public school sports and stuff, but how did you get involved in like football from a young age, or was your involvement in football at an early age?
So when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I would always have this book with me with information on results of football matches, a lot Jamaican matches as well. One of my older brothers, Andrew, would talk to me about results and matches that Jamaica had in the early 90s and mid 90s thereabouts as well. And so I just write down results and I'd meditate on those results and do research as well online so that it felt like I was there or I could be able to communicate about it, results, who scored, yellow card, and all that sort of information, even results from before I was born. So that's where I could say that started. And I've always had that passion and knowledge from that age. I would say that that's always been a desire from me from that sort of standpoint. But from using that sporting aspect of things and carrying that over into the arena of broadcasting, that started when I was 12. I would say that would say my first sort of experience being an analyst with KLAS and also TVJ when I was 12 years old for the 2006 World Cup. That was my first experience at analysis, or as they would say in Europe, punditry. And it's something that I enjoyed and something that I felt that would be part of my life moving forward. So that's where you could say was the starting point for me from that sort of standpoint. Other opportunities slowly expanded in my teenage years. Like in 2010, there was a sports quiz show on CVM TV called Set Play, where we had high school students being quizzed on sporting trivia. I became the winner of this competition, and this led to an opportunity to be an analyst for CVM for the 2010 World Cup. And from there, part of that panel was Roy Simpson, general manager of the Jamaica Football Federation. And from there, you could say opportunities started to open from the Jamaica Football Federation perspective as well, where I would assisted not only with PR and also media, but also when it come to talent identification as well. So that's when I could say it was the starting point from that standpoint. That World Cup in 2010, I would say that was basically the door opening, so to speak. That led to opportunities not only with the federation, but also doing analysis or commentary as well, being an analyst during schoolboy football and other events that followed as well. So 2010, I would say it was the starting point for me, even though opportunities took place prior. 2010 for me was that starting point in that aspect of things.
So, I mean, in Jamaican context, being an analyst, normally people would look to older persons to be an analyst. That's just, I guess, a part of how our culture is. And even in the world of sports, I don't think you have a lot of, in the Caribbean or in our region, you do have a lot of young analysts and persons who would look at that field. What was it like for you at such a young age, being around some veteran players, veteran broadcasters, and media personnel? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah. Well, for 2010, the prize was to be the analyst for the panel. So, from a CVM perspective, maybe they said, we're going to give this young man an opportunity for a week, see how it goes. But it eventually turned out that I was on throughout the course of the competition, even up until the finals. So I just ensured that I brought accurate information and was very objective and very informative and astute in the information I provided. Many persons may speak briefly about how, or generally about how a team is, but when you go specifically into players, their approach, and also statistics as well, I think those avenues have been my strength, so to speak. So that's what I would say I've been grateful for, and I would say that helped being in that space. Of course, you learn as well. There have been many persons that I've observed and learned from as well throughout that journey as well, especially that World Cup. Like I told you, Roy Simpson was part of that panel, Michael Hall as well, also Andre Virtue, some key individuals as well. You listen to, you have conversations with, and you make note about it moving forward, and persons that you communicate with and get along with to this very day. So I was just like a sponge in that atmosphere, just observing and taking it in opportunity and experience being in that atmosphere. I'm not sure, what was the mood in terms of publicly how they felt, seeing a young person, because perhaps it would have been different for them seeing somebody so young. But I just ensured that I did my best, and whatever question the host or the moderator asked on a panel, I just made sure that I answered it to the best of my abilities to give a wholesome discussion to things. And yeah, it opened up after there, being part of the Olympic panel in 2012, the 2014 World Cup as well, and of course Television Jamaica in 2018. So being grateful to garner all of these experiences before I turned 30. So honestly grateful for it, and each experience has helped me along the journey. And for other persons that are part of the panel, certain points that I would listen to or hear from as well, being able to garner as well. Some also from past players as well, seeing how they look at the game as well. That has also helped as well in the grand scheme of things.
Okay, so as you mentioned players, so I know that you would have worked as an analyst, as you said, for schoolboy football, and I guess from time to time on other sporting events. Now you're involved with the federation and national team. Um, how was your job as an analyst, you think? Has it affected your relationship with players? Because I know sometimes as an analyst, you have to speak the facts about certain things, and sometimes the facts are not necessarily kind in the way in which they depict players and their performance. How was that affected, or has it affected your relationship with players, you think?
Well, since becoming the media officer of the Jamaica Football Federation in June last year, I haven't received an opportunity from a mainstream media house to do analysis or anything of that nature. But what I can speak of is when I am on platforms online, like we are at this point in time, and if I am providing information on players, then I am giving factual information and statistical based. So I wouldn't say the approach has changed, because since the channel started in 2016, the approach has never changed. I've always strived to provide information to persons here and in the diaspora in relation to Jamaican football and players that are available to represent Jamaica. And I've never drifted from that at all in the 8 years. I haven't change topics. Some persons might want to discuss EPL or so on, and yeah, sure, I could have a conversation about EPL, La Liga, no problem. But I just wanted to be committed and just focus on Jamaican football, and just to show where it started in 2016, the passion, because that is when that channel was first created. So to answer your question, I wouldn't say it has affected things in that standpoint. I've never had a call from a reggae boy said I didn't like what you said, because I guess naturally how I analyze things might be different from certain individuals. But for me personally, if we're having a conversation about how somebody's doing in their club, like on my channel, I might say, how somebody's doing goals, assist wise, and I might use terms like room for improvement, or last season was this and this season is this. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say it has affected from that sort of standpoint. So no challenges there, to be quite frank with you.
So I know that at one point you were in media, as in working with mainstream media and stuff, and then you transitioned into the. You felt that you could have achieved, you could have done more or done before you took this.
So, Brian, it appears that the gremlins are with us, because the last thing I heard you say was mainstream media. That's the last thing I heard you say. So if you want,
yeah, it was freezing for a bit. So let me go again. So I'm saying, I know that you were in mainstream media, and know your transition. I wouldn't say transition, but know you're in a similar capacity in the JFF. So did you think your transition was at the right time, or you felt there was more work you needed to do in mainstream media before you came over to this opportunity, or you're okay with the way which things are?
I'm happy, honestly, with the journey that I've made. Specifically in journalism, I've done work at most sports media houses in Jamaica, bar nationwide. I've done work at Gleaner, Observer, CVM, IRI FM, Sportsmax, TVJ. So honestly, I'm grateful for what I've done, and I think I accomplished everything that I set out to do at TVJ. Honestly, it was a great experience. We had training sessions as well when it comes to presentation as well for radio and television. So absolutely fantastic. So it helped me with my delivery, and I think it has helped me online as well when it comes to pronunciation and things like that. So I'm grateful for it. I got the opportunity to present on television for primetime sports, and also as well for midday sports, and being part of different panels as well as for World Cups, and also hosting Olympic and champs discussions as well. So I do think I've garnered quite a bit of experience from this sort of standpoint, and I'm grateful for that experience, because it has helped me to be where I am today, where I know exactly what mainstream media is planning. So especially in the capacity I am now, I know how I can plan as well. So at least for the new coach, or whenever with Coach Al Grimson for the senior team, when it was John Wall for the under-20s, presently with Jerome Waite, I could go through with them questions, likely things that media were likely to ask. So at least they could prepare on certain things. So I think those experiences actually helped me to be where I am today, so that I can be able to prepare such persons, because those are the requirements, some of the requirements of a media officer. So I'm actually, I liked what I did prior, but I can say that I'm doing what I love, and I've always wanted an opportunity of this nature.
Okay. Just to backtrack a little bit. So in 2013, you won the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Sports. Actually, you're the youngest person to have won that award to date. What was that feeling like, or what was that experience like for you during that time?
Yeah. To be honest,
and how has that shaped you into the person you are now?
Yeah, to be honest, that experience, being nominated in itself was a privilege, because I know the persons that have been recipients of such awards. So on the day, I remember it very well. It was at the Emancipation Park, and I was just very calm. And I went in with an open mind that whatever would happen would happen. So when I heard my name call, I was honestly truly content to see how it transpired to be a teenager and being a recipient of this award. Truly grateful, and to see others, it was a large attendance there as well. Has it shaped me to be I am today? I would just more say that it has aided me in terms of, you know, accolades, which I'm grateful for 100%. And it basically prepared me for university, because that was before entering university. I was in my last year of high school. I was in upper six at the time that I received the award. So for me personally, it was an really, really great accomplishment. And I tell you something interesting, you know, the head of the selection committee for that time frame was Mr. Ohini Blake. So yeah, quite compelling there.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. So in terms of your role in the JFF now as a media person, what does that entail?
So in terms of the responsibilities that role covers, so whenever you're in camp versus not in camp, you have slight differences. Of course, as you know, in international football, you as a national team, it can be every 3 months or every other month, depending on where it is in that time frame. So let's say that we are in camp. In camp, the priority is ensuring that interviews are done, the media is informed as well, dates, times of training, so that they're 100% aware. Communication as well with the coaching staff on key information, so that they're aware of everything on a match day, the time that they're supposed to arrive, the bus arrival, the time that we're supposed to commence warm up, the time that we're supposed to end warm up, and other information as well in relation to whenever it's time for press conferences, the time that we're supposed to leave, the time that we're supposed to be there, the playoff for the press conference. So those points are extremely important for the players as well, communication with them in the same dialogue and tone as well. And also whenever it comes to the social media aspect of things, pictures as well, when it comes to social media, pictures that the players can also have on their platforms as well, because I think fans appreciate, and Jamaicans as a whole appreciate, if you're posting as a player, posting players in national colors, it reflects well, because fans are going to be saying that, oh, you're committed, you're happy, you're enjoying being here. It reflects well whenever we have those sorts of aspects of things taking place. So that in itself is good. And other aspects of things, when it comes to post-match as well, you have the mix zone as well, where you have to manage as well, leaving the stadium. And of course, in relation to the press conferences that I've made mention as well. And regarding other staff members as well, regular dialogue with the general manager to ensure that everything is following to requirements or regulations, that is CONCACAF or FIFA as well, so that everything is to a T. So those are some very, very important points in camp. Outside of camp, it's preparation for the next window. So preparation now for September and the information that will follow. My dialogue as well with the marketing company 876 Stream for the planning of that aspect of things as well. Okay, September 6th, we know now Minister Grange was there for the light inspection on Wednesday. All right, good. Now that we have that sorted, what is the plan now? Okay, we need to alert the public on the kickoff time for matches. We need to start activation as well, and little activities like that. So those are things that take place outside of a camp as well.
In terms of you would have been to in recent times. Well, I don't know if you went to the Copa before, but I know you went to this one. I know that you probably would have been involved in World Cup qualifying. You know, I mean, probably not in this capacity at the JFF, but you know, how do you find the experience? You know, for those tournaments, the Copa America, which is a massive tournament in our region. It's almost, you could say, our Euros. How do you find the experience there, and how was that experience helped you, you know, in terms of improving in your role as media officer for the Football Federation?
Well, to be quite frank with you, it's been the best. It's the best moment of my life and best feeling of my life representing my country. There's no higher honor, so I'm grateful for every single moment that I've had since June last year. It's been an absolute joy, no matter what time of day it might be, whether it might be 19-hour work days, 18-hour work days. It's just something I truly love and have a passion and desire for. So that is why I immerse myself 100% into it. You asked about the Copa America. I'll tell you why it was such a great experience, because it's like preparing us for the World Cup 2 years from now. Because CONMEBOL and CONCACAF, there's slightly different regulations. CONMEBOL takes on a little bit more like what we'd expect from FIFA when it comes to the World Cup. And I think it was extremely helpful for this experience. So we know exactly what we're going to get ourselves into 2 years from now when we're at the World Cup. CONCACAF has high standards as well, but CONMEBOL slightly different, and of course different language as well in terms of to consideration. But I do think it was a helpful experience so that myself and other staff members know as well what to expect come 2026 as well. So extremely grateful for the experience, and essentially from the CONMEBOL angle, they're in dialogue with you constantly and making sure that you are aware of what to do. So they'll say, Simon, the player selected for the press conference is Casey Palmer. Coach Halgrimson, ensure that they're on location 5 o'clock. Send your location. So it's very specific. And I don't mind that. I actually like that as well, so that everything is so organized and to a T, and everything is just so planned out together. You know, security.
So they're the ones that select the players for the press conference?
CONMEBOL, correct. For pre-match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's how it is in, like, when you have World Cup qualifying, CONCACAF does that, or the country reserves, right?
No, that's strictly for CONMEBOL in Copa America tournaments. CONCACAF does not dictate who you should bring to the pre-match. The only thing that CONCACAF would say is Simon Bobby Reed was the player of the match. So after the game, there's a flash interview. So that is what CONCACAF would say after a game. So they would say Brian was selected as a man of the match at full time. Please bring him to the tunnel. So post-match, yeah. So that's something Pearson should be aware about, and in terms of they shouldn't compare and contrast, but what I'm saying is that CONCACAF and CONMEBOL are different, because I know earlier this year persons were saying, where's the provisional list? CONMEBOL does not do that for their Copa America tournaments. They don't do that on their website. CONCACAF does that, but CONMEBOL doesn't. So it's important that persons are aware, and it's on the different websites as well. So CONCACAF and CONMEBOL on their respective websites have different regulations. So once you're able to go through that as well, you're able to realize and say, okay, this is why this is done, or this is why that is done. And the persons are aware of the different sanctions as well. That is public knowledge as well, if a club or a team does something. So, you know, all of that is public knowledge as well for persons to be aware about. So that's something that we can be aware about. So instead of assuming things, we can do the research and we see exactly why this is done by CONCACAF as well. So that's something we can factor in.
Yeah, I noticed something in the Copa America. That's, I think, CONMEBOL hosts that. I noticed that a lot of the press conferences were done in a different language. How did that affect you or any other member of the team that was involved in that aspect, if you could say?
Well, I wouldn't say it affected me, because to be quite frank with you, Spanish is actually my third language. It was compulsory for us to do it at Hillel Academy, both French and Spanish. And in university, I carried them on as minors. So my major was communication, but my minor was French and Spanish in university. So I carried both on. If in relation to the player and the coach at the press conference, they had an earpiece where they could be able to hear the English translation. So I wouldn't say there was any issues from that sort of standpoint. It's a CONMEBOL tournament, and the vast majority of teams in CONMEBOL speak Spanish apart from Brazil. So it was something we could expect. So that is why in the vast majority of the cities where we had matches, you know, Spanish was the most spoken language. Sometimes it meant a little bit of translation here and there outside of press conferences and so on, just from a logistics standpoint. But I wouldn't say that it hampered anything in relation to preparation or anything like that. Our team managers, Roy Simpson and Omar Stennett, when they had match coordination meetings, they also had Spanish and English as well. So, you know, it wasn't any challenges from that standpoint. You know, messages were communicated and heard, and CONMEBOL representatives also can speak English as well.
Okay, good. Earlier you mentioned that you did some courses with the Scottish FA in terms of talent identification and stuff. Do you do that for the FF, or you're strictly into media?
I didn't hear again, the audio chipped out. So
okay. No,
Did
man,
I?
fine.
So you can
Yeah,
repeat
so
it.
I'm saying earlier you mentioned that you did some courses in terms of talent identification in the Scottish FA. So I'm saying, being that you have that qualification, is that something that is that a part of is that something that you do for the federation now in terms of identifying talented players, or you just do like media stuff?
Well, I started that in 2019, and that's when I was actually, at TVG at the time, and vast majority of the courses were online. In 2022, there was an observance thing where you had to come to observe some training sessions of coaches. So I attended Celtic and also attended a Champions League game. But from a Jamaican standpoint, I don't think it's any secret in terms of my knowledge. So, if somebody has a question about a player or a player that has Jamaican heritage, they very much know that they can reach out to me, whether that is the general manager, whether that is the head coach, whoever that might be. So I wouldn't say that I am. Yeah, I am the media officer of the senior men's national team, but I wouldn't say that I'm not a man of many hats in that sense. I do think that I can assist other departments, so, and especially with my language ability as well. Whenever I am called upon, I do assist where possible.
Oh, I noticed you said media officer for the senior men's national team. So you're not extended to other teams, or that's like on a need to be basis?
It's for the senior men's national team, and Earl Bailey is for the federation.
Oh, okay. I wasn't. I thought you were. My thought was that you worked with all like the male teams, and then Mr. Bailey would work with the female teams. That's because I see him around the female teams a lot in recent times. So I just
Yes,
thought that it was like a split.
yeah, he travels for the Reggae Girls games right now for the under-20. Alexander Taylor is with the under-20 team. So yeah, you rarely find that staff overlaps into another national team, apart from the kit man, equipment manager, massage therapist. Those are the only really roles where you see they overlap into other national teams. It used to happen with like a Lamar Morgan, but now he's, senior men's national team. But it's not many individuals where it overlaps into other national teams, whether junior, senior, men or women.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
The under
So
17, the whole staff for themselves, the under 17 right now in New York.
yeah, because they're in America now.
Mhm.
So I know that you have your platform, Reggae Boyz Commentary, which I might add is a very successful platform. When I just started coming on the YouTube space in terms of learning about Reggae Boyz and Jamaica, that's where I normally go. Now you have more platforms coming on board. And being that you are in the federation now as a staff of the federation, would you say that has affected your channel, like information that you can put out, or it's business as usual? It doesn't affect you in any negative way?
Absolutely not. Nothing has changed since 2016. If you analyze the content that has gone out from then until now, nothing has changed from that standpoint in terms of information. I know a lot of platforms are more opinion based, but mine is 90 or 95% information based, and it has been of that nature since 2016. So I wouldn't say that there has been any effect in that sort of standpoint, apart from perhaps time that I can do to record videos, but that is understandable because I'm doing what I love. So no complaints from that sort of standpoint at all.
Yeah. All right. This question is going to be a bit tricky though. I'm gonna try and find a good way to ask it. So there was a call at one point from persons in YouTube space and social media in general for persons who are content creators to be involved in the federation. So, and then you went in and got your role. Omar went in too and is the team manager. I'm not sure if permanent or not, but he acts as the team manager and in tournaments and stuff. And then out of that now, there are people who would say that hey, Simon, switch or change or
Man, look like the audio chip out. Simon, switch is the last thing I heard, but I'm saying to myself, switch what? I don't understand. I don't understand that at all. Switch what? because if persons have been watching the content since 2016, they would know exactly the type of content that I do. And it's always been promoting Jamaican football. So I don't understand the notion about switch. I just find those sort of statements to be absolutely ludicrous.
Okay. In terms of talent identification, is that something that you think you would venture into like on a more consistent basis in terms of recruiting players and identifying talent in the future? Is that something that you think you would have a passion for?
To be honest with you, is it something I would have a passion for? Yes, but how I'm looking at things, I take things one day at a time. So I'm the media officer of the senior men's national team, and I'm going to do my best of my abilities, and whatever opportunity opens up in the future opens up. So for me, I'm focusing on my role 100%, but certainly if technical individuals have any questions, absolutely. It's no problem at all to say, Simon, does this person have Jamaican heritage? Simon, does this person have Jamaican heritage? Absolutely no problem at all. Because as persons would be aware, I would know persons that have Jamaican heritage all across the globe, from as far as Spain over to Dubai to Japan. So persons would be aware of those individuals that I know of. So certainly the conversations of that nature would pop up 100%. But to answer your question, long term, I would be open to it. But right now, I'm enjoying my role 100%. I'm just going to do it to the best of my ability. That's my main focus, honestly.
What is it like? I mean, I know some of these players that are in the national team, before you started working the JFF, you used to report information on them. Some of these players are mega stars in England and in Europe. What's it like being in camp with these players and going to tournaments and stuff like that?
They are honestly cool guys. Honestly, whenever you're in camp with them, it's like you and your brethren them just sit down and play domino. Honestly, really, really cool guys. And Jamaica is in their heart 100%, regardless of what they're playing, Premier League, Championship, League One, MLS, USL, JPL. Regardless of where they are, we all unite very well. And of course, you'd hear in interviews in the camp how much they enjoy things in the camp and how it's a good environment for them. It really has stemmed down to, the great synergy and of course the good results recently, picking up our first medal in 7 years, something that we should really think about in that sort of aspect of things, having deep runs in Gold Cup, Nations League, back-to-back wins in World Cup qualifying. So there's actually been a great synergy 100%. So in camp, they are unassuming guys, very, very humble, and they're, just like any other cool individual. They speak well, and they're very passionate and committed towards what lies ahead, which is getting to the World Cup as well. And for me, I think that March was such a great moment because I think it was a moment that we needed. Because for me, persons can have a different opinion, that's fine. I think trophies and medals for me define success. And for many of the players to get their first medal for Jamaica, I think that's just like an appetizer to just say, I'm going to keep going on and on and on. And to have so many teenagers and players in their early 20s picking up their first medal for Jamaica, I just see it as invaluable moving forward as well when they are in the 2030 cycle in their mid-20s and later on as well. So that's why I think March was really, really important for us as well, so that they get the experience. Because apart from Damian Lowe, Michael Hector, Andre Blake, Bowser, the rest of the players were winning their first medal for Jamaica. So it was really, really groundbreaking and important for us to have that moment in particular. Yes, we wanted to win the Nations League, but to leave home with a medal around our necks, priceless.
Yeah. So another thing, I know that like when you go to like tournaments like the Copa America and probably the Gold Cup and those stuff, I mean those are held in not held in Jamaica or Caribbean countries. I know that there are a lot of things that can be different there in terms of like food and just the whole culture and stuff like that. How has that been for you, and I would say for the other members of the team, in terms of settling in and being acclimatized to those conditions and stuff?
Well, from the player standpoint, I'll start there. That, for example, Gold Cup and the Nations League, we have a Jamaican chef with us, who is Carl Thomas, a really, really good chef with us, and he prepares the Jamaican food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, every day the players say, Carl, when we're getting the curry goat. So the players look forward to camps because they know that they're going to be able to get Jamaican food. Of course, you know, you're going to have, of course, the Gold Cup and Copa America. You're going to have the American food, continental breakfast options and so on, but the Jamaican food is always there as well, so the players are felt at home as well. And in relation to like weather, so when we're in cold climates like Dallas in March and also Canada in November, the vast majority of the players that were called up for those games actually play in cold climate places, so it wasn't out of the norm. When it came to just meal preparation, now Carl knew exactly what the team would need. Okay, we're going to need red pea soup today. All right, we're going to have chicken soup tomorrow. So little things like that, and that comes straight down to preparation, and again, brilliant work to, you know, the general manager, Mr. Roy Simpson, and also to Omar Stennett as well for putting these plans into place 100%. From my standpoint, well, I've had the privilege to travel to 35 countries. So honestly, for me, I wouldn't say that it was a culture shock whenever Gold Cup and Copa America came around. Some of the places I've been to before, so it didn't come across as a shock to me. It's great being able to have these sorts of experiences, and I'm happy for them. But from a player standpoint, the acclimatization and settling in period, it's not an issue at all. Within the first 12 to 24 hours, you know, that is done and settled from the moment that they're in the team hotel and they're experiencing the nice Jamaican food. So they are very, very well taken care of from that standpoint.
Yeah, all right. So coming towards the end now. Like, what's a day like? In terms of in your role when you go to like these major tournaments, let's say like a game day. What's a game day like for you? Maybe at the Copa America or Gold Cup or anything like that.
All right, match day. I'm up at 8 a.m. I'm communicating at 8:30 with the CONMEBOL media representative, where we outline the schedule in relation to what time the Jamaican bus should be at the venue and the interviews that will take place prior to kickoff. So you have a flash interview where the bus arrives, you'll have a coach interview, where it will take place and what time. At 10 o'clock, it's the first meeting of the day. And this is staff and players together, where we go through the plan for today. After that, you would have lunch. After lunch is a pre-match meal. And then before you leave the team hotel to go on the team bus to head to the stadium, you have a 5-minute block where you do something that is pre-match, that is motivational. Could be a video, could be a presentation, could be words of advice from a member of the coaching staff. And then you're heading to the venue. Whenever we head to the venue now, I have to send my location of the team bus to the CONMEBOL representative to let him know the bus has left the team hotel so that they can track the progress to know when we arrive at the stadium. When we arrive at the stadium, players come off first, and then the coaching staff members. And we leave the bus, we put our bags down in the dressing room. After we put our bags down in the dressing room, I am communicating with CONMEBOL to liaise the time and place where the flash interview will take place. Players will go out on the field to take a few selfies and take a look at the pitch. I'm liaising with the photographer to capture those pictures so that it can be shared on our social media platforms, and also some content for Adidas as well. After the walk around on the pitch, then the head coach does the flash interview. That is done. And then we're in the locker room. Warm-up starts 50 minutes before kickoff. So in the time before warm-up, it's about the players getting ready and me tracking the time to say that warm-up starts in X minutes or 5 minutes or 4 minutes, because you only have half an hour to warm up. So in that time frame, you're alerting the coaching staff members, the physios, so that they can do their strappings and bandages quickly as possible, so at least they're aware of the time. 5 minutes left, guys, 4 minutes left. So at least they are prepared, so that when it's 1 minute left, 2 minutes left, the players are ready to leave the dressing room to go onto the field to start the warm-up. During the warm-up, again, more dialogue with CONMEBOL and the photographers. The photographers really the warm-up pictures to be sent over to 876 Stream for editing, for posting online, and of course as well with CONMEBOL to go through the post-match routine. You're supposed to, on a match day, you're supposed to leave the dressing room, subs and staff, 8 minutes before kickoff. Sorry, 12 minutes before kickoff. That allows the time for the walkthrough and for the anthems and the handshakes to take place. If the game doesn't kick off on time, that is a problem, especially with broadcasters. And it is also, you have to ensure that you leave the dressing room on time. If you leave the dressing room late, even if it is 1 minute, then there is a sanction coming your way. So punctuality and time, extremely important. I don't have an issue because I am meticulous in that sense. I don't mind numbers. I'm okay with time. The match takes place after the game. It's the press conference. So grab the coach to the post-match press conference. Players are showering. After the players shower, it's straight to the bus. Before going to the bus, there's a mix zone. You're monitoring that aspect of things as well to ensure that all goes well. It's back on the bus, and from the bus back to the team hotel. It's dinner time, well, late meal. But during that late meal, I'm multitasking because I'm also sending pictures as well to be edited for be posted online. And in addition to that, for the coaching staff as well, they also want that sort of content that they can use in their presentations as well for future matches as well. And in addition to all of that information sent to the media as well in relation to the post-match press conference, whether audio, video, or both. So on a match day, I would say I'm not in bed until around midnight or 1 a.m., I would say, on a match day. Sometimes it's been later. Sometimes it has been later, depending on the match, honestly.
That sounds like a whole lot. And what I took away from that is there's a lot of like time constraints and timelines that need to be followed. And like I said, if you are even late by a minute, you have consequences to that in terms of fines and stuff. Certainly, we can't afford any of those.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it does sound like a whole lot, and I don't think. I mean, certainly for some people, I don't think we have a great appreciation for all that goes into, like, the games and the behind the scenes. I mean, we see what comes out on the pitch and the players and stuff, but I don't think we have a great appreciation for what happens behind the scenes, in terms of the whole production. Similar to like a movie, you watch the movie, you see the final product, but you don't see all the casting coming up and the editing and those stuff. So yeah.
You're spot on there 100% because you appreciate it more and you get to see the planning and everything, what needs to take place before kickoff as well. So it's very, very professional. And I do believe that, once this becomes, well, for the national team, no issue at all. I do think that we can replicate this same approach done in CONCACAF and CONMEBOL tournaments. I do think we have the ability to do it locally as well for our Jamaica Premier League. It'll take time, but I do think that for us to continue, this is certainly the approach that we'll have to take moving forward. And I guess, and this is just the media aspect of things, we haven't touched other areas as well. But yeah, I do think that was a match day experience in that sense. When it's a day of a team just training, sometimes bedtime is 11 p.m. or 11:30, depending on if there's late meetings.
What about like in the Copa where you're playing one city today and your next match day is in another city? What's that experience like in terms of shipping out every single thing that you have, like equipment and those stuff from one city to another? What's that like for you?
Right. So the day after a game is the day that you travel to the next city where your next game is going to be played. So the two managers will send a memo to the staff and players what time they should bring their bags down to the lobby, and this is hours before we actually leave. So this is done in a way where the equipment manager and the kit man can be able to load the truck of equipment to take to the airport, so that we don't have to be of a hassle of taking down 80 bags by the time we have to go on the bus. So it's a simple situation that when we're going to leave the hotel, we're only carrying our knapsack and maybe a personal item, and we board the bus and we head straight to the plane, because it's a charter flight, it's not a commercial flight. So we're not going through a process of, oh, we have to go to the desk to get our boarding passes. No, it is a charter flight. So it's a situation where the bus drives you straight to the plane. You come off the bus, you do a security scan, and after you do that security scan, you go right on the plane, and then you're on that flight for 3 hours or 4 hours, depending on where your next destination is. You come off the plane and you go right on a bus, and that bus takes you straight to your hotel. And the bags will join you later in the day. So that is what a travel day would be like in a Gold Cup and in a Copa America. Those experiences, that is what it's like. And you could say it's and this is what is also being done at FIFA tournaments as well, whether Senior Men's World Cup, U17, U20, etc. So it is basically the standard that is set for world events as well, not only regional, which is very, very good. And I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. So we're at that time now, folks. I promised Mr. Preston we wouldn't go for more than an hour. Simon, any last thoughts that you'd like to share?
Yeah, no problem. I've enjoyed doing this. I guess, there's perhaps one or two things that people did not know about me, which I don't mind sharing as well. I was also the analyst for the Jamaica Talwas in the Caribbean Premier League from 2013 to 2015. Those were the time frames that I worked with the franchise, 2013 to 2015. And it basically comprised the role like what Kyle Chin is doing, the current video analyst of the senior men's national team, along those aspects of you're getting video footage of the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition. So in that time frame, 2013 to 2015, we're talking about Chris Gale, Andre Russell, Krishmar Santoki, Rusty Taran, Narsingh Deonarine, Chadwick Walton, Nikita Miller, David Bernard Jr., that set of individuals. And we're looking at, okay, guys, so we're going to look at Bravo, how he takes his wickets. And then we'll go through the video together. And Junior Bennett, who was the coach at the time, would say, all right, so the slow balls come third delivery in the over, fourth delivery in the over. So we'll find the patterns, and basically the players execute when it's match day. So yeah, different experience compared to football, completely different experience. But it's just something that I wanted to share, that I've had experience in other sporting disciplines as well. I've also done work for the Jamaica Lacrosse Association as well, the highest ranked men's sports team that we have, Jamaica, as we're ranked number 8 in the world, and also Jamaica's rugby league team that was at the World Cup in 2022 as well. So yeah, I would say I like team sports, and just sharing the experiences I've had outside of football so that persons are aware, and the experiences that I've garnered in other sporting disciplines, which I have enjoyed. Of course, the vast majority of the experience I've had is within football, and I know that there are other things that we can discuss along those lines. But yeah, I just wanted to share those experiences I've had outside of football, and yeah, open to questions or comments you or persons may have.
So I'm going to go through the comment section and see. You know this person? I don't know this person.
Not personally, but I've seen the person in the comments.
Oh, okay. I think these are your co-workers or your partners, I would say. Yeah, bless up JC, bro. Thanks for tuning in.
Cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so special. Yeah. This person seems to know you.
Yeah, again, not a person I know well, but I've seen the comments.
Yeah, thanks.
A lot of viewers come from the diaspora.
Yeah, Champion Fun.
Yeah, I know.
I know you know Shaban.
Yeah, man. Shaban is cool. Cool guy, man.
Shaban, I'm commenting about. I think he's talking about the Football Federation. Is that something that you think you could do in the future?
Everything in life is time. I think the current constitution says that you have to be 35 or 40 years old, and I just turned 30. So one day.
I didn't know that.
I'd have to double check. But yeah. Thank you, Shaban. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you.
As a question, he says, what advice will you give to those, especially the youth, who would want a career in sports media?
Good question, because the dynamics have changed so much since I was a teenager, because when I was a teenager, Instagram didn't come around until I was leaving high school. So when I was in the middle of high school, third, fourth form, Twitter and Facebook were the main platforms that persons were using. So the landscape has changed so much. But in terms of if you want to cover a career in sports media, firstly, you need to have the passion for what you're doing. If you're going to do it, then you're going to enjoy exactly what you're doing. First, and the next element is in terms of ensuring that you have all the information that you're going to discuss. Regardless of the sporting discipline, make sure that you have all the facts first. And if you have as well access to all the rules of whichever sport that you're doing, that helps a massive impact as well. Because what you find is persons would give their opinion on a point, but not knowing or back checking what has been said. So that is why it is extremely important from that standpoint of things. In relation to getting the experience as well, look, KLAS has always opened their doors as well towards interns and towards young people. And I think it is a great opportunity for persons to get their foot wet in broadcasting, starting with radio and building your way into television, a great aspect of things for them to grow. A bit like Southampton in terms of their academy and Brighton in terms of producing players that eventually get sold elsewhere. So KLAS is a great platform from that sort of standpoint to grow in the grand scheme of things. So that's a recommendation I would have as well. And in courses that you do in university as well, whether it is journalism, broadcasting, communication, something along those lines will also help you with the principles that you need as well. So that will make a massive, massive impact as well, long term, so that you are aware.
Yeah. Okay. So before we go, I saw. Next thing I must say, bro. Kudos to you for always putting out information about the national team. I know you have the media group where you put out information and keep the fans informed, or keep us media persons or other persons informed, and we can always share information with the wider public. I think that's a massive, massive improvement, and it has really helped to garner support for the national team. So kudos to you for that. But recently I saw a release being put out. I think you were the one that put out that release regarding, content creators and the use of JFF or Reggae Boyz content. Could you elaborate on that some more and give a little bit more clarity regarding that? Because I know that there are some content creators who, including myself, who I would say about a genuine issue, but it comes across as, I don't know.
Well, again, the word repost was used and not share, because on Facebook you have the ability to share posts, and there's absolutely no problem with sharing content in that sort of vein. The challenge was during Gold Cup and Copa America, where, for example, a starting 11 graphic was posted on JFF, but for example, it was downloaded and posted on somebody else's Instagram page. That is where the issue would be. Or, for example, an IG live done by Shamar Nicholson on JFF's platform, downloaded and taken down and put and uploaded on somebody else's YouTube channel. It's just those aspects of things. So there's nothing wrong with you, Brian, when the coach is announced and you have the press conference. There's nothing wrong with you playing the audio, or are you stopping it every 5 minutes? You guys hear what the coach said? There's absolutely nothing wrong with you doing that. It's mainly the 2 points that I've highlighted to you just a while ago. Those are the challenging areas. But there's absolutely wrong with you sharing your screen. And if you share your screen and say, okay, guys, this is the starting 11, and it's showing a JFF graphic, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you doing that, sharing your screen, and you're playing the press conference of the new coach, or playing, an interview with a player. Nothing wrong with that aspect of things. If that provides clarity, great. If you have a follow-up question, cool. No problem.
Oh, so you're saying the issue is with persons taking the content and representing it as their own, essentially.
Exactly. Using the same JFF graphic and posting it on their IG page, or taking.
What if they give you credit for it?
It seemingly would be an issue, because remember, Adidas is also involved as well. So that is the challenge.
Okay. I understand. But I really I think originally when that whole thing came out, it sort of caused a little bit of a confusion, I would say. But I mean, I totally understand the perspective. Um, and I
Yeah,
guess you still have others involved now and stuff
as I
like that.
said, yeah, as I said, it was just Gold Cup and Copa where there was that trend, but that's not something that you see taking place. It's just the two issues that I highlighted: a starting 11 graphic being posted on the page or a squad announcement, and that photo of
What
the
about
squad.
the press conference? What about like the JFF? What about, because I know from other YouTubers, including myself, would share about press conference like when you were at Cope and those stuff. What about those? Is
press
that
con- Press conferences are fine. If I share when I share the press conferences with you in the group, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you posting it on your platform, because press conferences are for the press. That is why press is in the word press conference, and it is something that we learned in journalism school as well. So I'm sure that John Peel fan, I think he did some media courses as well, so he'd be aware about that. So those that studied media would know that press conferences is absolutely no issue at all for somebody to post it on their platform, because that is for the press.
okay? So I have a few more comments. Siobhan says he's looking forward to September and is available to help in any ways necessary. Eat Sports says one love, bless up, Brian.
Big up.
And yeah, so I guess he's saying what you said initially. So yeah, that's it from me, bro. We're over the mark.
Yeah, no
And I
problem.
really want to take the time out to thank you for coming onto the platform and giving your input on your views. Share a little bit about yourself as well. And also you're one of the persons that, when I decided to start my platform, you gave me some really good advice and encouragement, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, so just thanks for that. And any final words from you?
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to the future where we can speak again. Maybe some crickets, maybe some athletics. We'll see. But yeah, we can definitely arrange for future shows. No problem at all there. In terms of final words, I just want whoever's watching this video, all Jamaicans, to just rally behind our JPL clubs now. Arnett Gardens tomorrow, 7 o'clock against Racing Club Aruba. It's live on YouTube, so we can tune in and watch and comment. And we want the same support as well for Cavalier and Mount Pleasant, because the more our Jamaican clubs do well, the higher we'll be in the CONCACAF rankings, which mean a greater incentive for Jamaica as well. So it benefits Jamaica. So let's get behind our 3 Jamaican clubs.
All right, bro. So thanks again, Simon, and we'll be in touch.
Alrighty. No problem.
All right, so yeah, people, thank you guys for tuning in to another show. Really, really do appreciate it. Like Jura said, like, share, and subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Jam Kill fan, yeah, bro. Hopefully we can talk some cricket soon. I have a cricket interview that I'm trying to line up. Going to be a massive one. Hopefully I'll be able to get it sorted out between now and sometime in August. I think the major problem I'm having now is the timing. I think the major problem I'm having now is the timing. Hopefully I'll get that sorted out though. But people, really, really do appreciate. Oh, people, check out my Instagram page, Bomb Sports TV. A lot of updates dropping over there regarding JPL. A lot of information over there, transfers, coaching updates. I have some more transfer that I'm going to drop shortly. So definitely look out for that. This person saying, so what's the rationale? You're not really allowed to download a person's content and repost it or represent it as your own. So he cleared up that. He says there's no issue with you sharing the content like from Facebook and Instagram and stuff, but they don't want for you to be downloading their content and putting it back on your platform, presenting it as your own. The people that spend a lot of time editing their graphics and doing stuff like that, I don't think it's fair for you to be taking their stuff and putting it back as your own. So he's already explained that. Isa Seshaban, keep helping. And final comment says, I guess has nothing to do with that. Don't buy the Eric. College man, I asked the question on that explanation that was given. I think it's a fair explanation as well. I mean, we don't always have to agree with everything, but that's just how life is. So people really, really do appreciate it. People remember August 7 to 9, Safe Hands Goalkeeping Academy will be hosting a camp for goalkeepers at the Alpha Institute. Cost is $15,000 for 3 days, works out to $5,000 per day. It's really, really worth it. We'll be getting a backpack with accessories and stuff. We'll be getting good quality goalkeeping coaching. So definitely when you get a chance, just go over to Safe Hands Goalkeeping, Safe Hands GK on Instagram and reach out. They can reach out to me too on Instagram, and I'll definitely pass information on. I'll be doing a show tomorrow, people, to talk about the transfers in the JPL, coaching updates. I have some more information to drop, and there's also a development in the St. Catherine Football Association as it relates to the election. I got some information today. I need to do some more fact checking, and then I'll be having a show tomorrow to discuss that and possibly look at the under 20 and a whole host of things there. Big up Issa Allen. So yeah, that's it, people. Issa Alex Marshall. Soon get the information for that Issa Allen. Just check out the Instagram, people. Thank you for taking the time out again. Please remember to hit the like button and share the content with your friends. I'm going to leave you with this Safe Hands Goalkeeping camp information. And I said, if you're interested, you can reach out. The information is in the video, but you can always reach out to me on Instagram and I will provide information. So people, thanks again and see you tomorrow.